Welcome back. It was an interesting day too of NASSCOM. We spoke to some of the biggest global voices, including the creator of the first humanoid and the heads of big global companies like Emerson and Coursera. Listen in. I have with me David Hanson, the CEO of Hanson Robotics and the creator of the popular Sophia. Thank you so much, David, for speaking to us and taking out the time. You've had a busy schedule, I know. Your session was very exciting. I want to understand what you make of the Indian AI robotics scene. You've spoken to a few people, you've interacted with startups in the country. Being a pioneer yourself, what do you make of where India is placed right now?
I think India is in a very good position. First of all, the emphasis on science and technology in the country puts India in a very good position relative to technology awareness and literacy. So the time that we live in produces tools that can be used by anybody anywhere in the world, and you can have innovators who can come from a village at this point. It would not have been possible 20 years ago, but now the tools are available for almost anybody to learn how to program. At the same time, I've been very impressed by the quality of technology and science education in schools such as IIT. I had the privilege to lecture at IIT Kanpur and IIT Roorkee at their technology events a few years ago, and have stayed friends with some of the students from these institutions and have been very impressed with where they're going with their careers. So the time is right for a country like India to become a major player in the world of artificial intelligence and robotics.
If you could give us a quick glimpse into what it took to reach the point of creating Sophia and her siblings.
Sure. As a child, I was very interested in science and math, and I was also interested in arts and ideas. Okay. Ultimately, the study of science and engineering and math led me to the conclusion that if we could achieve a true thinking machine that would reinvent itself to be smarter, that you would have something like an intelligence explosion, something like a Moore's law of accelerating super intelligent machines. My feeling was that humans were going to destroy this planet. On our own, we're not smart or wise enough. We have to get wiser, we have to get smarter. So it felt like a moral obligation to pursue these. So in a sense, that was a dream. A dream fueled by reason, but also a dream fueled by science fiction and philosophy and exposure just to playing with ideas. That playful energy, that inspired me to develop Sophia as a quest to make machines that are wise and emotionally meaningful to people. So, Sophia means wisdom.
As far as India is concerned, how important is India for Coursera? How active has the Indian community been in terms of adopting online learning, really?
India has been super active on Coursera. There are about 3 million learners from India on the Coursera platform. It's actually the largest country outside the United States. So Coursera is very committed to helping learners in India get a great education.
Fantastic. Now, if I can talk about what are the kind of courses that Indians are more interested in, would you have an idea of what they want to learn out there?
So, you know, AI is actually one of the most popular topics among Indian learners. The machine learning course I created several years ago was actually the most popular course taken by Indian learners in 2017.
Do you think that the old format of education, the traditional format, where you talk about high school and then graduation and then getting a degree, just going out there and climbing the work ladder professionally, is that outdated? Do you have to constantly keep learning now, even for professionals?
Yes, I think lifelong learning is a new constant. The old model of college, where you go to college for 4 years and coast for the next 40, that just doesn't work in today's world, where technologies and industries and economies are evolving so rapidly that everyone has to keep on learning for your whole life.
What is the kind of scope, really, and potential for AI as far as professionals are concerned?
For individuals, AI offers an opportunity to participate in a small but rapidly growing piece of our economy. I think AI will transform every major industry. I've been saying AI is the new electricity. Just as electricity starting 100 years ago transformed every industry, manufacturing, agriculture, communications, healthcare, AI has now reached the point where we see a surprisingly clear path for it to also transform every industry.
Well, Andrew, if I can just, highlight one of the recent initiatives that you've undertaken, a $175 million dollar fund for startups, AI startups. Talk to us really about that fund, that fundraising opportunity, and what really are you looking to do while you mentor such AI startups?
If you look at the last technological wave, the rise of the internet, some incumbents did a great job transforming themselves to be internet companies. Microsoft and Apple in the US really did a great job transforming. There are also startups that did a great job riding the rise of the internet. So I think startups back then, like Google, Facebook, Baidu, Amazon, maybe Flipkart. So I think just as with the rise of the internet, there'll be opportunities for incumbents and opportunities for new entrants. So Landing.ai is focused on helping existing companies transform, and the AI fund, where we'll raise $175 million US dollars, is focused on building new AI companies from scratch. Because I think both the incumbents and the new entrants, just like the rise of the internet, could do very meaningful work.
We've seen a lot of action from the U.S. government in recent weeks. First, of course, the cut in corporate taxes. And what does it mean for a company like yourself?
Well, for us, obviously, there's a nice improvement, which we were able to talk to our investors about last week in terms of the earnings per share and the return and our ability to invest in capital. And so we increased our capital budget. The big thing that I've actually seen, though, is it's very attractive for foreign direct investment into the United States.
Because of the tax reforms, we're expecting a lot of repatriation of funds back into the U.S., and that will probably mean more spending as far as outsourcing and offshoring is concerned. That's a way of looking at it. Do you agree?
Well, I don't necessarily agree, because not all the money is going to be repatriated, only the money that's not being used.
Interesting. And
so we have plenty of cash out there to drive investments in what we call emerging markets, which India, of course, is a big piece of, and any capital that's needed. But if there's excess, maybe it should be returned to the shareholders.
From a merchant's point of view, which emerging markets do you think will bring in the next wave of growth? What countries or geographies are you bullish on in the next 5-year horizon?
In the 5-year, it's an old answer, but China is in a new phase. And as they have built their consumer economy, China is much stronger than it's been in the past. We're very optimistic about India. India has had a struggle to get up to the level where they want to or need to. But we see a 3, 4, 5-year period in India that's very favorable.
If I can ask you any specifics that you can throw the spotlight on as far as investment and expansion plans in India is then concerned?
Yeah. Well, there's two things. One, we used India because it's a terrific engineering source. Our ability to hire and retain high-level engineering talent is almost unequaled in the world. So our global engineering centers here are very productive. But now we see the opportunity to manufacture in India, not just for India, which we've done in the past, but for a full region. And so we invest in India for the Middle East, for Africa, for Southeast Asia, and for India. One of the biggest populations on the planet in that region, all centered in our factories in India. So we're building our 18th factory now in Chakan, and I go to Chennai tomorrow to pick out land for our 19th factory in India to serve the region.
What is the outlook for FY19 as far as the IT/ITES sector goes?
I think the growth, as I understand the forecast, is good. Maybe not great, but good, because there's some different dynamics going on, but I think there's a missed opportunity. And the IT sector has isolated itself to how businesses run rather than how operations run. And I think there's a huge opportunity for the IT expertise to move into the operations space.
With all the top voices from India Inc. and the global IT community, it's an absolute wrap from all the action here in Hyderabad. Thank you so much for watching.